Hi guys, and thank you for joining me for the summary of day 3 of the 2021 Mosconi Cup. I think that day 1 in any Mosconi Cup is always a little bit nervous, and also we gotta remember that they're playing on 4-inch pockets on a brand new felt with about 1,000 people in the crowd. They're also playing for, the winning team will get $30,000 each and the losing team will get $15,000 each. Anyway, day 1 ended 2-2, and I think that was great. It could have tipped both ways, but 2-2 was a fair result. Hey guys, if you're new to this channel, I try to make weekly product review videos. I also do some challenge matches and I give away some prizes, so consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Day 2 started with a bang. It was the fans' choice. Obviously, it's going to be Shane Van Boening and Jason Shaw, and just as last year, Jason Shaw won it 5-3. Day 2 pretty much had everything. It had some great shots, some bad shots, people cracking under the pressure, a little bit of controversy on some rulings, and overall I think that day 2 is leading up to an amazing day 3. And to me, the final result from day 2 was rather surprising. Now US is up 5-4 on Europe, and I love it. That makes for a great day 3, and I particularly am looking forward to these two doubles matches. Smash that like button on YouTube if you like this video so far. So the first match of day 3 is Jason Shaw and Chris Weinhold, and this is almost like a must-win match for Europe. They really need this point to get them off and running, and Jason didn't disappoint in the first rack. He made an awesome break and made quick work of this rack, going 1-0 up pretty quickly. So in the following rack, Chris locked up Jason really good, and he would eventually get ball in hand. Jason was a little bit unfortunate here. However, Chris did not capitalize on this opportunity. He didn't have good angle management for the 6 ball, and he tried to bank the 7 ball, and with 4-inch pockets, not so easy. So he kind of gifted that rack to Jason, making the score 2-0. In the next rack, we had a little bit of a safety battle, and we will soon see that Chris comes with an awesome shot. This shot is not easy on a 4-inch pocket. Unfortunately, on the very next rack, he made a pretty big mistake, and Jason took that rack as well. I don't know if I'm right, but I think that to me it looked like Chris was not feeling comfortable at the table, whilst Jason, he lives for the audience and he's a showman and he just plays better the more people that's watching. So yeah, as you can see here, he's playing with the crowd. I am still impressed by Chris. He made a couple of really difficult shots in high pressure situations, this being one of them. Unfortunately, this was not his day, and Jason, after this break, he made a couple of really difficult shots. Almost scratched, but he made a couple of difficult shots, and well, he took home that match, taking the point for Europe. The second match on day 3 was one of the one I was really looking forward to. It's a doubles match between Jason Shaw, Joshua Filler, Skyla Woodward, and Tyler Steyer. Playing against Shaw and Filler in combination must be a nightmare. They're just so full of energy. They play quick. They rarely miss a shot, and rack 1 was proof of that. They broke and made quick work out of that. And then in the very next rack, we had a couple of interesting safety shots with just the 8 ball and the 9 ball on the table. Look at this shot here from Tyler. That's pretty spectacular. And eventually the US team was left with that difficult 8 ball, and also, I would say difficult 9 ball. Unfortunately, Tyler missed it. However, no, it was not to be. So basically, they gifted that rack to the European team. The American team quickly picked themselves together. They won the following rack, making the score 2-1. In the fourth rack, Tyler had an unforced error trying to play this safety shot. Obviously, he would make this 9 out of 10 times, but on this brand new cloth and everything, it's super difficult to judge the speed of the table. The momentum was definitely on the European side. They broke and made quick work out of that rack, making the score 4-1. Tyler did make a couple of great shots, making the score 42, but unfortunately for them, this break here from the Europeans was pretty good, and Jason came up with a great shot, leaving this rather difficult 9-ball for Joshua, but no problems. They took the match 5-2. Okay, so the third match on the third day is a Klinkacci and Shane Van Boning. Seems to me like Shane should be the big favorite. Clint has not played great so far in the Mosconi Cup, and normally he doesn't really perform well during the Mosconi Cup. When he's playing, just for himself in big tournaments, he's a machine, he's a monster, but during the Mosconi Cup, he's kind of underperformed a little bit. However, he came up with a couple of great shots in the first rack, and he took that one. Shane quickly equalized, so the score was quickly 1-1, and this was looking like a really quick match. And then both players started doing, unforced errors, silly mistakes, stuff you won't believe from this caliber of players. I guess you could say that after the first couple of racks, Shane made fewer mistakes than Clint, but they really messed up this match, and well, you're gonna see. And yeah, they look, they don't look good on camera doing these silly mistakes, but it is what it is, and the pressure is high, and we should not judge them for that. These pockets are 4 inches, so and there's 1,500 people in the audience. We gotta give them a break and cut them some slack. So here's a pivotal moment of this match. Pretty nice break from Shane, but he left himself with this 7. And unfortunately for him, he scratched, giving this rack for free to a Clint, making the score 3-3 instead of 4-2. And when as soon as you make one silly little mistake, the pool gods punish you, really hard. Clint came up with a couple of great shots in this rack, and well, he took it down, making the score 43 to him instead of 42 to Shane, which it should have been. And I guess Shane was thinking, what have I done to the pool gods? Just take a look at this. He cuts the 1-ball beautifully down for the kiss, but this is what he's left with. Obviously, impossible shot, leaving the 3-ball in a rather awkward position, tying up the 8 and the 9-ball. But take a look at this. It's kind of like a trick shot, and I 100% can tell you that this was not what he was playing. He was trying to break them up, making the 3-ball. But when the pool god smiles down on you, you just have to accept and say thank you very much. So next up was the other doubles match I was looking forward to, Ocean and Al-Qaeda against Steyer and Van Boning. The thing is that both Van Boning and Steyer had recently really bad experiences in their singles matches. So how is that going to affect the two of them as a team? And if this was an omen, normally Shane would never miss this shot. So the European drew first blood, but in the very next rack, they mess up everything, and pretty quickly the score was 1-1 after Tyler made this double shot, I guess you can call it, and Shane came up with a really nice shot. It looks easy, but it's not. So both the teams were struggling to take command of this match, but it's still early, and in the third rack we had a little safety battle going on between the teams. Tyler coming up with this fantastic shot right here, but this safety shot here was anything else but fantastic, and it left the Europeans in a perfect position to tie the Americans up really good, and basically they they won the rack due to that unforced error from Tyler. And in these short races, you really can't afford giving away, anything. And of course, what happens normally is that you get double punishment. This guy here, he can really break, and Al-Qaeda came up with an awesome shot and opening up the entire table. And now they're in a 3-1 lead. So now perhaps both the American players started to think about the events that occurred earlier today. They didn't have any good experiences, neither of them, and so they missed a couple of easy shots, and basically the match ended 5-1. In the end, it was a very dominant result, but it could have swung both ways early on in the match. So now it was up to Captain America to make sure that the US avoids a whitewash on day 3. They were down 4-0 on the day. David Al-Qaeda is his opponent, and he started with a break and run. I am one of those that thinks it's really unfair that Jeremy needed to take Earl's spot. Somebody had to do it, and he's a good option. I feel that the European team, what they could have done, they could have picked one of their players, put them on the bench, and put Carl Boyes in there, and then we could have captains matches. I know it's not, in tradition with the Mosconi Cup, but these are untraditional times. So anyway, Jeremy was really, putting up a fight, and he's finding his stroke better and better, more and more for every match. Every time I see him, he looks better. Obviously, super nervous. So both of the players took a couple of racks each in the beginning, and David was up to 2-1 lead. And then, what do you know, my streaming provider decided that enough is enough. They just cut short the stream. But I followed the match somewhere else, and it's a really controversial thing. The match went to Hill, and then they called a time foul on Jeremy Jones, apparently because there was some dirt on the ball. He wanted it clean, and it didn't stop the clock. I don't know, because I didn't watch it. I just followed text stream updates. But if that's the case, somebody's done something wrong here. I'm not saying the referee did anything wrong, but in the heat of the moment, you can just stop and just claim there's dirt on the cue ball, I want it cleaned. So, but apparently that didn't happen. The match went to Hill, and Europe won it, making the overall score after day 3 9-5. Anyway, guys, thanks you so much for watching, and please tune in for the final day later.